Welcome to all. Welcome. See, utility. First to second chapter, important chapter. More than 20 marks will be covered under this chapter. So, utility is subjective, objective, both A and B, none of the above. See, objective ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾ? Object. ಮುಕ್ತಕ್ಕಾಗೋದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ objective ಅಂತೀವಿ. Subjective ಅಂದ್ರೆ just we can feel. We can feel ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ satisfaction power. Utility means what? Satisfaction power. Can the satisfaction power be touched? Now touch ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತಾ satisfaction power ನ? No, we cannot touch that. We can feel. So it is subjective. Option B is the right answer. Okay. Then shape of an indifference curve is normally ಬಂದಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಇವು features of indifference curve ಅಲ್ಲಿ convex yes, concave E, error ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಇದಿಲ್ಲ ಇದು right answer. Okay. Next, consumption bundles that are available to the consumers depend on price and income. Color and shape ಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಾ, income and quality ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ? Price, budget line, income, price of the commodity. Consumer has 40 rupees. Income ಇದು banana price discussed ಆಯ್ತು. So we have to observe that part. Next. Yes. Okay. Next. See. The equation of budget line. ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ P1x1 plus P2x2 is equal to M. P1x1 plus P2x2 is equal to M. ಹೇಳಿದ್ ಬಂತಿದೆಯಲ್ವಾ? This is the answer for that. Price of one commodity, units of one commodity, price of second commodity, units of second commodity is equal to the money spent. Okay. Next, the demand for these goods increases as income increases. As income increases, the demand for the goods increases. Those are called normal goods. Adhe ulta andre the demand for these goods decreases as income increases. They are called inferior goods. Okay. Next. The vertical demand curve is vertical demand curve. Vertical demand curve. Vertical demand curve is perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, unitary elastic. See, vertical means what? Vertical. Horizontal. See, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ? ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ಕಡೆಗೂ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಈ ಕಡೆಗೂ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ? ಇನ್ ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್. ಈ ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಈಸ್ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಎಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್. ಆರ್ಡಿನಲ್ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವ ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್? ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್? ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಪಟ್ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. Ordinal utility, is it in numbers or ranks? Ranks, good. Okay, ranks ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, numbers ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ that is cardinal utility. Cardinal. Okay, cardinal numbers ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Want satisfying capacity of a commodity is called dash utility. Okay. Next, two indifference curves never intersect each other. Okay. Next. They never intersect each other. Next, as income increases, the demand curve for normal goods, the demand curve for normal goods shifts towards right, because as income increases, the demand also increases. Therefore, it shifts to right. As income increases, the demand curve for inferior goods ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ರೈಟ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, Okay, the demand curve moves in the dash direction of its price. Opposite direction ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. Opposite. Opposite. ಯಾಕೆ opposite? Opposite direction. Opposite. Because price increases, the quantity demand decreases. Therefore, opposite relationship. The method of adding two individual demand curve. See, here demand curve ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಇದೊಂದು ಎರಡನ್ನು ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಎರಡು ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂತವಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಸಮೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್. ಸಿ ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇವೆರಡನ್ನೂ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ಸಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಈ ಎರಡು ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ನ ಸಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ 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 summation. Okay, horizontal summation. Okay, yes. Next, ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಏನು ಪಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ. ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಏನು ಆನ್ಸರ್? ಕಮೆಂಟ್. Downward sloping. Yes, downward sloping. Linear demand curve. ED is equal to, sorry. Linear demand curve ಅಂದ್ರೆ demand is equal to A minus BP ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇದನ್ನ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Next, unitary elasticity of demand is equal to 1. Unitary means elastic is equal to 1. Therefore, it is unitary. Complementary goods means pen and ink. Indifference map, a family of indifference curve. Or group of indifference curve. Okay. Yes. Shall we move to the next? What is budget line? Budget line is a graphical representation of two goods in which consumer purchases particular price and quantity. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? ಬಜೆಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಇದೆ ಏನದು? ಗ್ರಾಫಿಕಲ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್. ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಅದು ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಇದೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಲೈನ್. ಗ್ರಾಫಿಕಲ್ representation of two goods in which consumer purchases at particular price and particular income. Particular price and particular income. Okay. Yes. Next. What do you mean by cardinal utility analysis? Cardinal utility is measured in numbers. Ordinal utility is measured in ranks. Okay. What is marginal utility? Marginal utility is extra. Marginal means extra or additional utility. Okay. Additional utility. Extra glasses of water gives extra units of utility. That is marginal utility. Next, what is utility? Utility is satisfying power of a commodity. MRS, marginal dash. Here not an answer. Rate of substitution. Hello. Okay. Yes. Next. What do you mean by indifference curve? Indifference curve is different combinations of two goods in which consumer gets equal level of satisfaction. Refers to different combinations of two goods in which consumer gets equal level of satisfaction. That's called indifference curve. What is demand? Demand is a particular quantity which is purchased by consumer at particular price and period of time. Particular price and particular period of time. Okay, demand. Okay. Next. Notice. What are the differences between budget line and budget set? Budget line andre graphical representation. Budget set andre bundle. It refers to the bundles. It is a graphical representation. It is graphic. It is represented by graphs. It is represented by what? Bundles. Okay. Right. Next. What do you mean by inferior goods? If income increases, the demand for those goods decreases. They are called inferior goods. Navne, ragi, etc. Important is important. Really important anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಅವನ್ನ ನೀವು ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋಣ. Monotonic preference, important. Consumer always prefers only one indifference curve which gives higher level of satisfaction. Is it right? Consumer only prefers one indifference curve which gives higher level of satisfaction. That is called monotonic preference. Law of demand. If price increases, quantity demand decreases. That is called law of demand. Clear. Mention two approaches which explain consumer behavior. Important. Cardinal, utility, knowledge. Cardinal utility. Okay. Next, what do you mean by price elasticity of demand? The responsiveness of demand. To the change in price. It is called price elasticity of demand. Okay. Next. Write the difference between total utility and marginal utility. Important. 4 marks only. Important. Okay. Important. Total utility. It refers to all the units of the commodity. Marginal utility. It refers to additional unit of the commodity. Okay. Marginal utility curve is downward sloping. Okay. Total utility curve is upward sloping and becomes constant and decreases. But marginal utility becomes zero and becomes negative. This is the difference. Okay. Next, explain the indifference map with a diagram. Indifference map means what? It is a family of indifference curves. Okay. Higher indifference curve gives higher level of satisfaction. Lower indifference curve gives lower level of satisfaction. Okay. So it is explained with the diagram. Next, you have to write. As a rational consumer always prefers higher indifference curve, which gives higher level of satisfaction. That is called monotonic preference. Monotonic preference. Very important. 4 marks. This was important. Next, explain the budget set. This is also important. Budget set with the help of diagram. Budget line is a diagram. Okay. Budget set. Budget set refers to the bundles of two goods, different combinations of two goods in which consumer gets, in which consumer purchases at particular price and income. Okay. This is called derivation of slope of budget line. Table hakandu diagram hakidwala ನಾವು class ಮಾಡೋದು. This is called derivation of budget line. So we have to give the numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Okay, like that. This is called derivation of budget line. Okay, next. What are the differences between substitutes and complements? Very, 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 very important. Very, very, very important. Substitutes means the goods which are used alternatively. Okay, they are called substitute goods. Complementaries, the goods which are used together. Okay, example, substitutes: coffee, tea, or tea. Alternatively, together: pen, ink, petrol, bike. Okay, the demand curve for substitute goods shifts towards right. The demand curve for complementary goods shifts towards left. The relationship between the price and quantity demand of substitute goods is direct. Okay, the demand for complementary goods is opposite. What are the differences? Okay, clear? Our notes ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಗಳು ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು 2-3 ಸರಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ರಿ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ just listen again and again. Otherwise you write the points, then it is best and best easy. Okay, next go for the difference between normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods and inferior goods. Yes, normal goods, the goods which are demanded more. I mean, when income increases, demand also increases. When income increases, demand decreases. They are called inferior. Okay, for the normal goods, there is direct relationship between price and quantity demand of normal goods. There is opposite relationship between demand and quantity of inferior goods. Okay, the demand curve for normal goods shifts towards right. The demand curve for inferior goods shifts towards left. That's it. Example: inferior goods, navne, ragi, etc. Okay, fox millet, finger millet, foxtail millet, we call it. Normal goods: vegetables, fruits, grains, daily needs, etc. Yes, important. Very important questions. You know, important law of diminishing marginal utility. Who introduced? Gosen. Who popularized? Marshall. Third sentence aitala. 2 sentences completed. Then you come for the meaning. As consumer consumes the units of commodity continuously, the marginal utility obtained goes on diminishing. That is called law of diminishing marginal utility. Marginal utility is diminishing. Okay, it is explained with the help of following example and table. Table units, TU and then MU. Okay, diagram. This is the diagram. Okay, MU, TU. Okay, y-axis, x-axis, units, here TU and MU. Everything is explained. Okay, after that, MU is downward sloping, TU is upward sloping. It becomes constant, it becomes 0, it starts to decrease, MU becomes negative. These are the differences between TU and MU. Okay, 6 marks. Next, important features of indifference curves. Important. Most important. Okay, see, indifference curve is downward sloping from left to right. Indifference curve cannot intersect each other. Indifference curve cannot be vertical. Indifference curve cannot be horizontal. Indifference curve cannot be positively sloped. Indifference curve cannot be parallel each other. Indifference curve is convex. Indifference curve is not concave. It is not concave. Okay. Indifference curve has no bulge. Has no bulge. Okay. Has no bulge. ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ರಿ. ನಾಳೆ ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಆಗಿ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಹಿಂಗೆ ನೆನ್ಪಿರ್ತಾವೆ ಒಂದೊಂದೇ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೆಯೋದೇ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಡೈಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ come to this what's optimal choice of ಬೇಡ, ಅದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಯಾವ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. ಓಕೆ, ಎಸ್, ಅವು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲವು ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಅವು ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೇ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾವೆ. ಇದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇಟರ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಈ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ. ಈ ಬಾಯ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದ್ವು ಹೋದ್ವಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಡ್ಡಿಗೆ ಬಿದ್ದು. 40 rupees is income. Banana price is 5 rupees. How much bananas can she consume? 8 bananas. How much mangoes? 4 mangoes. Is the slope of budget line downward? Yes, it is like this. Therefore, it is downward sloping. Are the bundles on the budget line equal to the consumer's income? Yes, everything is spent. Everything is spent by the consumer. If you want to have more of bananas, you have to give up some mangoes. Is it true? Yes, it is true. 5 marks. Important andre important. Gottu nimge adu. How much it is important. Okay? Yes. Practical oriented adu table idiyala, practical oriented. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀದಾ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಜಂಪ್ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾರು ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬ ರಣವಿಕ್ರಮ ಅಂತ. ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಇವರೇ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ, ದ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ is related to macroeconomics. National income is under macroeconomics. Okay. Next, NNP is equal to GNP minus what? Depreciation. Net value barbaku andre ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು? We have to deduct depreciation cost. Okay. Deduct depreciation cost. Then we get net value. Net national product. It is net national product. Okay. We have to deduct depreciation cost. Next, value of GDP at the current prevailing prices. Current prevailing prices, that is real GDP. See, adhe tara, the value of GDP at the base year prices is called real GDP. Real GDP, sorry. Okay. The value of GDP at base year price is real GDP. The value of GDP at the current prevailing prices is called nominal GDP is the answer. Nominal GDP is the answer for this. Okay. Nominal GDP is measured at current prevailing price. Real GDP is measured at base year price. That's it. Okay. Next, by deducting undistributed from national income, we get personal income. Personal income. Okay. Measuring personal income, undistributed profit ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಈಗ ನಾವು 1,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಒಂದು 100 rupees ಸ್ಕಾಲರ್ಶಿಪ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ನಮ್ದು ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ 1,100 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಲೆಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ನಾವು ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು? ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ನಾವು ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು? 1,000 ನಮ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್, 100 rupees ಸ್ಕಾಲರ್ಶಿಪ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ 100 rupees ನ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ? ಅನ್ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. Okay. Next, measuring sum total of all factor payments. Factors of production payments is called income method. Okay, income method, important. Okay, next, very important. Dash are defined at particular point of time. Stock. Hagadre, dash are defined at over a period of time. That is clear. Okay, 2 marks important question ado. Idu already bandide illi. Dash are defined at particular point of time. That is stocks are defined at particular period of time. Okay. Next. Dash goods will not pass through any more stages of production. Final goods. ಯಾವ stage ಇದಲ್ಲ final goods. Next, dash is an annual allowance for wear and tear. ನೆನಪಿದೆ ಇದು wear and tear of capital goods. That is depreciation. Okay, dash is a stock variable. Inventory. Okay, inventory is a stock variable. Inventories are treated as stock. Okay, pollution is an example for positive externality. Sorry, it is negative externality. Pollution is an example for negative externality. Okay, so what is for positive externality? Employment arised by establishing a factory. Employment. That is positive externality. Okay, net contribution made by a firm is called value. It's value added. Clear? Next, we'll move. Sorry, ಕೇಳ್ರಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಬೇಕಾರೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇದನ್ನ ಕವರ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ labor wages, GDP gross domestic product, inventory stock variable, PDI personal disposable income, domestic service non monetary exchange. Okay, next important ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. Okay, important ಯಾವುದು? What do you mean by final goods? The goods which will not pass through any more stages of production. Important. CPI, Consumer Price Index. Okay, GNP, MP, Gross National Product at market price. Okay, market price. How do you get net value added? By deducting depreciation. By deducting depreciation, we get net value added. What is the meaning of GDP? GDP is the value of goods and services produced within the economy. Within the economy. Okay, what are intermediate goods? Intermediate goods are the goods which are used for the production of some other goods. Okay, next, what is depreciation? Depreciation is wear and tear. Allu kelidralla elli fill in the blanks. Wear and tear of capital goods. Okay, next, how do you get personal disposable income? We have to deduct all personal taxes from personal income minus all personal taxes is equal to personal disposable income. Okay, Next, GVA at market price. ಅದನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು net value added ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ GVA is equal to gross value added. Rent, wage, interest, profit, factor payment. Next, GDP deflator. This is important. This GDP deflator important. Ratio of real GDP to the nominal GDP. Nominal GDP is called GDP deflator. Okay. Next. What are the four factors of production? Mention their rewards. Idantu helidini ಹೇಳಿ ಸಾಕು. ಬಾಯಾಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋದು. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಬಾಯಾಟ ಆಗಿದೆ. Land, labor, capital, organization. Mention the rewards. Rent, wage, interest, profit. ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬರಿಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು. ಸಾರಿ, ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Okay, next, stock and flow difference. Stock is defined at particular period of time. Flow is defined at over a period of time. Okay, examples: stock, fixed deposit; flow, export to import to. Okay, next, what is the difference between consumer goods and capital goods? Consumer goods and capital goods. Consumer goods are the goods which are used for consumption. Capital goods are the goods which are used for production. That's all. Mention three methods. Important. This is most important. Important. Next, three methods: product method, income method, expenditure method. Product method, income method, expenditure. This is also important. What do you mean by externalities? Externalities are referred as benefits and harms. Are called externalities. Two types: positive, negative. That's okay. Okay. GDP MP, GDP at market price, GDP at factor cost. Okay. Adeni ashtond important alla. Idu important. Adu externalities alla. Idu most important. Nominal GDP is measured at current prevailing prices. Real GDP is measured at base year prices. That's it. Okay. Next, concept of final good. Nentigala heliddu. Final good concept. Final goods. Concept of final goods. See, final goods are the goods which will not pass through any more stages of production. Once they are produced, they are out of economic flow. Second sentence. Even they are finished, they can be transformed into another products by the action of producer. I mean, by the action of producer, they can also be transformed into other products. Okay. Other 4 to 5 points. Next, explain the circular flow of income. Most important. One side households, another side firms. Okay. Firms supply factors of production: land, labor, capital, organization. Households supply factors of production: land, labor, capital, organization. Therefore, they pay factor payments: rent, wage, interest, and profit. They spend money on them to purchase goods and services. They supply the goods and services towards households. That's it. Okay. That is to be explained properly. Then you can get good marks. 4 marks. Okay. See, class in the end attend agri. Next, matte tagavana class. And 10 minutes is mugiya tanga. 5 to 10. 5 minutes. Okay. So, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ 2 marks, 4 marks ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ತರ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹೌ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ವೇ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್